My dad laughed, tipping his glass like he was toasting a joke I hadn't been let in on. Your sister earned everything on her own, he said, eyes forward, unlike you. The table went still. My mother's hand froze over the serving spoon. Something sharp slid into my chest and found a place to rest. Then I'll stop sending you money, I said, steady and quiet. His color drained. What money? In that split second, the house told the truth it had been hiding for years. That was the night I stopped being the quiet one. From the outside, we looked enviable. Sunday dinners, framed smiles, matching sweaters on cards we mailed every December. Perfection is easier to print than to live. My name is Maya Ellison, 32, the daughter who learned early that peace sometimes demanded you swallow your own voice. My sister Clara, 2 years older, was the golden one. Teachers adored her, neighbors bragged about her, and our parents treated her shine like family property. Dad Victor ran our house the way he'd run his old restaurant. Every opinion needed to pass through him. Mom Elaine, gentle and exhausted, spent years translating his pride into apologies nobody asked for. When the recession hit, the mortgage slipped. I had just landed a junior position at an architecture firm, barely steady myself, but I told Mom I'd help until they caught up. $5,000 a month, quietly, responsibly. Dad didn't trust online banking screens steal, he'd mutter, so I wired the money to Clara. She promised to hand it over in cash or by check. Easier this way, she said, like families were puzzles only she knew how to solve. I believed her because believing her was the first language we learned. Months turned into routine. On the first of each month, I sent the transfer and waited for a thank you that never came. When Dad mentioned the mortgage was under control, a warmth bloomed in me. Clara texted the occasional handled, and that was it. Still, something never matched the picture. The house looked tired, paint peeling, the fridge humming like it was begging to retire. Mom smiled through it, said, Clara's helping us manage things. I wanted to believe it. I did. Dinner that night looked like celebration, a table set with the good plates, rosemary chicken filling the air the way it did when I was 9, and silence hadn't yet found its teeth. Dad poured another glass of wine, inspected us like a stage he owned, and smiled toward Clara. Your sister figured it out, he announced. Instinct, ambition. He looked at me when he said it, but the smile wasn't for me. I'm happy for her, I said, the way I always had. Mom reached for the mashed potatoes. Her hand trembled. All on her own, too. No handouts, Dad added. The air shifted. His glasses' clink rang too loud. I could have nodded and swallowed my voice again. Instead, I leaned back and heard my own words arrive without shaking. Then I'll stop sending you money. Silence knifed the room. Mom's spoon hung midair. Clara's fork slipped and scraped her plate. Dad blinked, confused more than angry. What money? The $5,000 I've been wiring to Clara every month for you and Mom since last April. He frowned. You've been what? Mom turned to Clara, color draining out of her. Is that true? Clara straightened, brittle. She's exaggerating. There were delays. Every month, I said, the first. I have the confirmations. The quiet that followed wasn't peaceful. It dissected. Dad looked at Clara again. We never saw a cent. Clara's jaw tightened. You don't understand. There were expenses, investments. What kind of investment costs $60,000 and leaves you with nothing? I asked. You wouldn't get it, Maya, she snapped. You don't believe in anything unless it's safe. Believing in family shouldn't be unsafe, I said. Mom's voice shook. Clara, is it true? It's complicated, Clara murmured. Steam faded from the food. I stood, pushing my chair back. Then it's her problem now. Dad's hand closed around the table's edge. He looked at Clara, but she wouldn't meet his eyes. In that breath between truth and denial, the house changed. That night, the walls stayed awake with us. I lay in my old room beneath the plastic stars I'd stuck to the ceiling at 16. Voices murmured down the hall. Mom crying softly, Dad pacing, Clara's door closed and silent. I opened my laptop. Habit guided me payments, transfers, statements. Each line stared back like accusation. $5,000 on the first. My digital fingerprints on a crime I hadn't meant to commit. Morning found Dad at the table, head in his hands. Mom stood at the window, robe wrapped tight. She says it's tied up. A company, Mom whispered. A company doesn't eat mortgage payments, I said. It eats trust. Dad's jaw flexed. We'll talk when she wakes. Clara never did. Her car was gone, her room empty, perfume hanging like a final lie, a sticky note on the dresser. Don't overreact. I'll fix it. She's running, I said. Dad reached for his coat. I'm going after her. You can't chase a story, I said, catching his sleeve. We need facts. He stared at me like he wasn't sure whether to trust me or himself, then nodded. I worked the problem like a blueprint. Structure first every transaction, date and message, then failure points, where the money changed hands. Every transfer confirmed. Clara's account, then out again. Toward evening, my friend Noah sat beside me, the laptop glow between us. You're digging deep, he said. I have to, I said. It's not just the money. It's how long she thought I was safe to lie to. At the bank, the manager scanned the records and frowned. All redirected, she said, tapping Clara's name. Funds moved to an intermediary. She hesitated. A man named Julian Cross. A name clicks a lock. Direction, trail, spine of a map. Outside, the January air slapped my face clean. You wanted to play with trust, Clara, I whispered. Let's see what truth costs. 3 mornings later, the doorbell rang at sunrise. I was in the kitchen with Mom, both of us running on too little sleep and too much quiet. Dad shuffled in, papers in hand. I opened the door. A man stood on the porch, jeans, hoodie, a smile polished for mirrors. Morning, he said. You must be Maya. I'm Julian. The name dropped like a stone. Clara's Julian. He lifted a folder. Just clearing up a misunderstanding, Clara asked me to bring proof of our investment. Show us, I said, stepping aside. He entered like it was his house, spread glossy printouts on the table, mock-ups, buzzwords, projected growth curves that led nowhere. Dad's face tightened with each page. This is nonsense. Every big thing starts small, Julian said. 60,000 small, I said. You've been talking to Clara, he said lightly. No, the bank. Mom's knuckles whitened on the chair back. Dad's breathing went ragged. Julian leaned back, cool again, eyes watchful. She believed in me, he said. And you let her, I said, because it paid your rent. Tires crunched outside. I looked through the window. Clara's white sedan pulled in. She stepped out, sunglasses on against a gray sky. The front door opened and there she was. Hair neat, coat expensive, expression cracking when she saw Julian. What are you doing here? Babe, he said, instantly soft. I told you I'd fix it. You weren't supposed to come, she hissed. Dad's voice was quiet and lethal. You took your sister's money. You lied to us. It's not what you think, Clara said quickly. Then explain, I said. Because 60,000 disappeared, the mortgage fell behind, and he's driving a new car. She looked at Julian. You said we'd double it in a year. He shrugged. Plans change. Dad's fist hit the table hard enough to rattle the glasses. You stole from your own family. It's not stealing if it's an investment, Clara shot back. We just needed time. Mom's voice splintered. We skipped payments because we trusted you. I stepped toward Julian. What's your real job? I'm an entrepreneur, he smirked. Funny, I said. Your last venture owes back child support. His face twitched. Clara stared at me. What? I showed her the messages from a woman with a toddler who'd knocked on our door the day before. She's been looking for him. I didn't lie, Julian said, exasperated. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing, I said. Dad moved to stand toe-to-toe with him. You're leaving. Julian's smile vanished. You can't stop her seeing me. She's an adult. Clara's voice shook. I'm not going anywhere with you. He reached for her arm. I stepped between them. Don't touch her. Sirens grew louder. Julian froze. What did you do? Return the favor, I said. The police are interested in where the money went. Lights splashed red and blue across the hallway. 2 officers stepped in. Julian Cross. He tried to laugh, but his voice broke when they cuffed him. Clara collapsed into a chair, shaking. Dad leaned against the counter, pale and silent. Mom cried into her hands. As they led Julian out, he hissed at me. You think you've won. There's always another me out there. Then I hope she finds another me too, I said. The door shut. The house exhaled. 2 weeks later, the police called. Multiple scams, 5 women, same pattern. Julian pled guilty. They wanted Clara's testimony. At first, she refused. I can't face him. You already did, I said. You survived. In court, Clara spoke softly but clear, describing how Julian had framed my transfers as seed money. Her hand shook, but her voice held. When the verdict came, 3 years, earliest parole at 18 months, no one cheered. Relief moved through us like air. Dad found my hand under the bench. Mom cried quietly. Clara let out a breath that sounded like surrender. That night, we burned what was left of Julian photos, notes, old receipts in a small metal box in the backyard. Paper curled. Smoke lifted into a bright, cold sky. He took so much, Clara said. Make sure he never gets another inch, I told her. By spring, she'd found a job downtown office assistant, unglamorous, honest. Mom opened the curtains again. Sunlight spilled onto the kitchen tiles. Dad fixed the porch railing he'd ignored for years. The silence in the house softened. Some afternoons, I found Clara and Mom planting herbs, rosemary among them. The same scent that had witnessed our breaking became a promise of something else. One evening, Dad sat beside me as I sorted bills. We made her this way, he said quietly. We called her special until she thought she couldn't fail. We all played a part, I said. We're fixing it now. He nodded, eyes bright. I'm proud of you, Maya. It landed heavier than I expected, maybe because it came without comparison. Clara joined us with 3 mugs of tea. We'll be okay, she said, half to us, half to herself. For the first time in years, I believed her. A month later, I packed for Seattle, a new job, a new start. Morning light poured through the kitchen as Mom folded laundry and Dad read the paper like it was any other day. Clara walked me to the car. You're really going, she said, sleeves pushed up, face unadorned. It's time to answer, I said. She slipped an envelope into my hand. A photo of us as kids at the county fair, sticky with cotton candy and too young to recognize betrayal. On the back, she'd written, Sometimes you have to lose everything to see what's worth keeping. Driving away, I checked the mirror. The house looked smaller but lighter, too. Families don't have to break you, not if you finally draw the line and tell the truth out loud. If any of this sounds like your life, I'm listening. Tell me where you are. Tell me what you kept.